This year, in the skies of the war with Iran, American forces destroyed an enemy stealth drone. And that drone was a copy of America's own aircraft. Not inspired by it. Not similar to it. A clone of the most secret drone the United States has ever flown. The original was called the RQ-170 Sentinel, a machine so classified that it watched over the raid that killed Osama bin Laden before the world even knew it existed. And then, one night in 2011, one of them came down inside Iran. Not in pieces, nearly perfect. Iran claimed it hadn't shot the drone down at all. It claimed it had hacked it and simply told it where to land. What followed is one of the strangest stories in modern warfare. An American president publicly begging for his drone back, a toy mailed to the White House as an insult, and a family of clones that would one day fly into combat against America's own allies. America didn't just lose a drone that night in Weindwart. It handed its enemy a 15-year head start. To understand the disaster, you first have to understand what this machine was. The RQ-170 Sentinel came out of Lockheed's legendary Skunk Works, the same secret shop that built the U-2 and the SR-71. It was a sleek, bat-winged stealth drone, designed to drift silently over the most heavily defended airspace on Earth and see everything without ever being seen. It first flew in 2005, but the Air Force didn't even admit it existed until 2009. After grainy photos from Afghanistan earned it a nickname, the Beast of Kandahar. Its resume was the stuff of legend. Sentinels flew from Afghanistan to spy deep inside Iran, watching its nuclear program. And in May 2011, an RQ-170 hovered over a compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan, streaming live video of the raid that killed Osama bin Laden. This drone was so secret that its greatest mission, watching the bin Laden raid live, was over before the world even knew the aircraft existed. Even today, only a handful of photographs of it exist, which is what made what happened next so catastrophic. On the 4th of December 2011, one of these drones was flying near Iran's border with Afghanistan when something went wrong. Hours later, it was sitting on Iranian soil around 140 miles inside the country, near a city called Kashmir, and it was nearly intact. That detail stunned everyone. A stealth drone that crashes from high altitude becomes confetti. This one looked like it had landed. Iran's explanation was extraordinary. Its cyber warfare unit, it claimed, had jammed the drone's control link, cutting it off from its American operators, and then spoofed its GPS, feeding it false coordinates so the drone believed it was landing back at its own base in Afghanistan. In other words, they didn't shoot it down, they talked it down. Is that true? To this day, nobody outside Tehran knows. Some Western experts called the GPS trick plausible. Researchers had warned about exactly this weakness. Others doubted Iran's story entirely, suspecting a simple malfunction. But whatever really happened over Kashmir, one fact was beyond dispute. Iran was now holding America's most secret drone, nearly whole. Washington first denied everything. Then President Obama admitted it. And then he did something no one expected. The President of the United States stood before the world's cameras and asked Iran to return the drone. Think about how desperate that request really was. The most powerful military on Earth, publicly asking its enemy to please give back its secret aircraft, because there was no way to take it back. The drone sat deep inside Iran. Any raid to destroy it risked open war. Iran's answer was pure theater. It refused, filed a complaint at the United Nations for the violation of its airspace. And then an Iranian company announced it would mail President Obama a miniature toy version of the captured drone. Pink ones went on sale for children. The most powerful nation on Earth asked for its drone back, and was offered a pink toy instead. Behind the mockery, though, something far more serious was underway. Within a week of the capture, Iran announced its real plan. It was going to take the Sentinel apart, piece by piece, and learn how to build it. By April 2012, Iran's Revolutionary Guard claimed its engineers had cracked the drone open, extracting flight data and even recovering its software. American experts scoffed. Decrypting US military systems? Unlikely. Then, Iran did something that wiped the smirks away. It published video footage taken by the drone's own cameras, including imagery from its earlier missions. Somewhere inside that airframe, Iranian engineers really had gotten into the electronics. They dissected the composite skin, studied the radar-absorbing materials, and mapped the flying wing shape that made it stealthy. Now, in fairness, America had one quiet consolation. The Sentinel's designers had deliberately left the most sensitive US technologies out of it, a calculated trade-off, precisely because drones flying over hostile territory sometimes don't come home. Iran had captured a secret aircraft, but not the crown jewels. America's consolation was that the Sentinel carried deliberately modest secrets. But even modest American secrets were a goldmine in Tehran. And Iran didn't just want to study it, it wanted to fly it. 3 years after the capture, Iran rolled out something remarkable. The Shahed-171, a full-scale flying copy of the American Sentinel. Same bat-wing silhouette, same shape, but this one was armed, modified to carry missiles. Then came a smaller jet-powered version at 60% scale, the Shahed-191, and a piston-engined sibling, the Shahed-181. A whole family of clones, all descended from one captured drone. And they weren't parade props. In 2018, one of these clones launched from Syria and penetrated Israeli airspace, where an Israeli Apache helicopter shot it down. An Israeli general confirmed exactly what it was: a copy of the American system that had fallen into Iranian hands. The clones also flew strikes against ISIS. Let's be honest about their limits. Analysts note the copies lag far behind the original. Cruder sensors, bomb bays that sometimes fly with their doors open, ruining the very stealth they imitate. A clone is not an equal, but 3 years after Obama asked for his drone back, its Iranian children were flying combat missions, one of them straight into Israeli airspace. And this year, the story came full circle. In the war that erupted between America and Iran, reports say the original Sentinel's lineage was right there, supporting strikes over Iranian nuclear sites, still doing the job it was built for 15 years ago. But this time, the sky held something else too: Iran's clones. And in the fighting, American forces destroyed a Shahed-171, the copy of their own captured drone. Sit with that image. In 2026, America found itself shooting down the ghost of its own aircraft, a machine it lost, never got back, and finally met again on the battlefield. One drone, lost on one night in 2011, had seeded an entire enemy drone family. And it took a war 15 years later for America to finally destroy what it could never recover. As for the original, its even more secret successor is already flying somewhere far above, in the black. So that's the full arc of the Sentinel. America's most secret drone lost nearly intact inside enemy territory. A president reduced to asking for it back, and answered with a toy. Engineers in Tehran pulling its secrets out one layer at a time, building clones that flew into real combat until, this year, America ended up destroying a copy of its own creation. And here's the lesson buried in it: losing a weapon in war is a setback. Losing technology is forever. You can bomb factories, sink ships, shoot down every clone in the sky. But you cannot unteach an enemy what your own machine taught them. To this day, Iran's hacking claim remains unproven, and its clones remain crude shadows of the original. But the pattern, captured, copied, sent into combat, is undeniable. And this wasn't even history's greatest reverse engineering heist. That happened decades earlier when Stalin got his hands on America's mightiest bomber and ordered his engineers to copy it bolt by bolt. That's the story we're telling next. Stick around.